Hi guys. Yeah, it's been a while. Well, listen, it's time to start talking about something called antibiotics. Now, why are we talking about antibiotics? Because this is the antibiotics for preppers is it's the gold standard for medical survivability, for medical preparedness. Now, I'm not going to pull your chain. I'm not going to blow sunshine up your butt. I'm an affiliate now. Yep, that's a real thing. And there's a reason why. Now, before you run off, there ain't no big sales pitch here. I'll tell you right up front. It costs that much money if you're in America, and it costs that much money if you're in Canada. It also costs that much money if you decide you want to do it on your own. Before we get too deep, let me answer some of the questions that I know that you have. Don't worry about this kit. Don't worry about what comes in this kit. I'll show you everything about it as long as you stick around long enough, but I know that there are three key questions that you guys have. First one is, can I buy this in my state? Let me tell you what, guys, I'm extremely impressed with this company. From the time that they contacted me to the time I made my order to the time I received my kit was less than 1 week. Oh, it's a little windy today, but that's okay. This video has to be done today. I sent an email to my contact there in the company. And inside of 24 hours, because somebody asked me, well, I can't get that in New Jersey. It's a shame. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that, but I need to ask that question. And that's exactly what I did. So I sent the email off, boom. And, well, inside of 24 hours, here's the answer that I got. Pretty amazing, guys. So now, even in the state of New Jersey, there's not a single state in the United States that you cannot get this product online. And the ordering, the way they do it online, is extremely simple. You will need identification because they are prescriptions. The next thing is what comes inside. Well, antibiotics, a guide, a really kick-ass guide, and a lot of other follow-up information that they're not talking about. But before we get into that, like I said, we're going to get there. We've got to answer the number one question that I know that you guys have. How long do these things last? This is a huge purchase in today's economy. $250 is nothing to scoff at. And if you start talking about $250 per person in your family, this is nothing to scoff at. This is not a cheap item. Let's state that right up front. But for what you get, it is absolutely unbelievable. Now, how long will these things last? If I'm going to spend $250, how long will these antibiotics last? People are like, well, they go bad, or they can. No, listen, do your research. You know what? I did the research. Let's take a look.
First things first, the information on this YouTube channel is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content, including text, graphics, images, and information containing on or available through this channel, is for general information purposes only. You can read the rest of the disclaimer yourself. Just pause this and go through it yourself. All right, let's do this. In asking the question about antibiotics and going bad and how long will they last, we have to dig deeper. And the first thing we have to ask ourselves are expired antibiotics toxic? The bottom line is that a long time ago, there were some antibiotics that they found to be toxic, specifically tetracycline, and that was about it. And if you let it go bad, or it goes beyond its expiration date, and yeah, it can be toxic. So that's the first thing. Now, because drugs are actually regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, it's smart to go to their website and start asking questions. One of the first things I did was hit the website, start reading, ended up scrolling all the way to the bottom of the page, and this is what we found. FDA supports a public health program involving other parties to extend the expiration date of a limited number of... What? Extending the expiration date? It's something called the Self-Life Extension Program, also known as the SLEP. That's pretty interesting. So I start Googling around and getting that information up for you guys. And that indirectly leads me to a DOD memorandum that talks about strategic stockpiles of medication. In a nutshell, what the Department of Defense and the FDA and the U.S. government figured out was it's going to cost a lot of money if we have to restock our strategic stockpile of medications every single time somebody puts a number on the bottle. That's interesting. So watch it, looking right here. Oversee, one of the things in their directive, one of the responsibilities to oversee medical shelf life management programs. That's interesting. In coordination with the services and Food and Drug Administration, affecting expiration date management of dated and deteriorative material and other items found in services assemblages. What does that mean? Let's make sure that even though it says it's expired on this date, that we have a program that says it's still good to go. Going through doing all that research for you, that led me back to the expiration dating extension program. And it's noted the strategic national stockpile. So it's this big self-perpetuating loop of we don't want expiration dates to affect us financially. That's really what this all comes down to, guys. What we have to do is we have to think about this logically. Does anybody really want this $250 item per person to instantly go out of date in 1 year? Well, the reality is it's not, and I'm going to show you why. I dug deep into the internet, to the Wayback Machine, and got as far down the throat of the FDA as I could possibly get, and I found this little memorandum here that talks about Federal Shelf Life Extension Program and how it's directly related to the Emergency Use Authorization. And then I cross-referenced that with an organization called PHE, the Public Health Emergency, which is actually a government website that talks about the national stockpile. That research drove me to the National Institute of Health. Oh, it's a .gov address. That's pretty interesting. They had a lot to say about a few of these little items. And that led me to the National Library of Medicine. Oh, that's a .gov address as well. That's pretty interesting. Now here's where the plot thickens. That took me to this actual article written in the PMC, which is, let's see, National, oh my God, it's a .gov address. The U.S. National Library of Medicine and the National Institute of Health. Drug expiry, or expiration dates, debate the myth and the reality. Reading this, medical authorities state that expired medicine is safe to take. What? Even those that expired years ago. It's true, the effectiveness of the drug may decrease over time, but much of the original potency still remains, even a decade after the expiration date. Excluding nitroglycerin, insulin, and liquid antibiotics, most medications are as long-lasting as the ones tested by the military. Oh, we're back to the DOD. Oh, it's getting interesting. Placing a medication in a cool place, such as a refrigerator, will help a drug remain potent for years. That's some key advice there, guys, because they say to keep them in cool, dry places. You just got to be careful about the atmosphere that it's in. We're going to keep going, though. Solid dosage forms like pills, such as tablets and caplets, appear to be the most stable past their expiration date. Now, once again, we can't say take drugs after their expiration date. You're not going to hear us say that. What we're going to say is, what would a prepper do? How would a prepper evaluate their situation? They would do as much research as possible, and they would find these things out. Here we go. The tests conducted by the U.S. FDA ultimately covered more than 100 drugs, prescriptions, and OTC drugs. The results showed that about 90% were safe and effective as long as 15 years past their original expiration date. Well, isn't that interesting? And to bring us back full circle, can you take expired antibiotics? Do they lose their potency and efficiency? Check this, guys, out. The SLEP program, remember that government program we were talking about? Found that around 88% of 122 medications, including antibiotics, retain potency for more than 1 year. The program determined that the average expiration extension should be 66 months. Oh my God. And a maximum extension of 278 months, depending on the medication, of course. Basically, a course of medication. The important thing to remember here, guys, is that when you're going to spend this amount of money, can I put it on the shelf? Will it last for a long time? I think we've answered that question. So I think the next thing to do is just get this thing to the white table and take a good hard look at it.
So this is the box that it comes in. Yep, it's about that big. It's actually kind of small. And obviously you're going to see things scribbled out because they're real prescriptions, and you don't need to know everybody's personal information. So inside the box, you're actually going to get like that pile of paperwork that comes with all medications, saying what it does, how it works, things like that. Let's go ahead and set that to the side. Then inside of the box, we don't need the box anymore. You get the actual J's case. Now, this is actually a nifty little case because you can put more than what's inside of it. This one, I believe, is just empty, where you can put pretty much anything you want inside of it. And then the back pouch actually has some medication as well as the Emergency Antibiotic Guide, which we'll cover in a second. This is an awesome little book. So the first thing that comes in it is the, spin that around, the azithromycin, okay? And we'll just stuff that in that little thing right there. Pretty cool. Let's close this up, and we're going to leave the Emergency Antibiotic Guide out so that we can use it later. Let's open this. I'm going to take this off screen real quickly to see, make sure my name isn't popping up, because I haven't even opened this one yet. That's right, I have more than one. Okay, so now when you open it, that's the way it comes right there. Now, if you looked at any of the advertisements, there were only 5 medications, 5 sets of antibiotics. That's because the one of the medications is actually broken. It's supposed to be 120 tablets. It's actually broken into 2 60-tablet bottles. We're going to do a breakaway real quick, and I'm going to set this up for you. And one of the first things that I noticed about this case was it has breakaway inserts that you can use, so you could actually put more than what's inside of here from one of your other kits. That's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I noticed was there's actually 8 different spots, so you could actually put other medication inside of here that you might want to use on an emergency basis. The pouch itself really does expand very much. I was very surprised. I didn't think it would, but it did. Now, okay, so that's what you actually get inside of the kit. And I'm not going to read all the drugs off. I'll just kind of throw them up in the corner real quick, and you guys can read those things while I talk to you. But as a whole, these are the types of containers that are light tight. So they won't let light get inside, and they won't let the light damage or erode the pills. And like I said, 2 of them are one specific drug. They're in 60 and 60, equaling 120. And then the others are the others that I can't super show you because obviously they have my name on it. What I also wanted to show you was this sweet ass guide. So you literally just open this guide up that it comes with it, and it starts talking about the different drugs. But what I like about it is actually shows what you can treat with those drugs. And these are the kind of things that we're going to run into every day. And some of these are pretty crazy. But let's see. Doxycycline can treat anthrax. Isn't that special? From a prepper's perspective, that's pretty neat. But I also like the idea of treating tetanus. That's pretty neat. So you can open to any one of these pages, and you'll see, plague. Well, plague's a problem. Pneumonia. All right, so if I have pneumonia, I'm going to take 1 capsule by mouth twice a day for 5 days. Amoxicillin, clavulanate. Take 1 tablet by mouth twice per day for 5 days. So it literally is this guide that tells you exactly what to take based on, there's that tetanus again. Ooh, that looks like that hurts. It tells you exactly what you're supposed to take based off of what's inside the kit. I don't think we're going to find anything else like this on the market. Okay, so what have we learned? Well, let's see. We learned that it doesn't matter what state you live in anymore, you can actually get it there. It doesn't matter anymore. It's legal in every state. We also learned that this misnomer that because there's a date on a bottle, yeah, well, as preppers, we should think of that as the best before date. And I think the last thing we learned is that you can't put a price on our health. You guys know me. I have not. If you've watched the video this long, then you know that I don't endorse products that I absolutely dislike. I will not endorse a product that I don't 100% believe in. To prove that to you, yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So if you want to support the channel and take care of yourself in the process, there's a link down below. Go through that. I recommend that you use your phone because it's going to ask you to take pictures of your ID. I know some of you are like, oh my God, no, not that. It's a prescription, guys. They have to prove who you are. It's the law. And you can only have one prescription per person or one Jace pack per person once a year. So you know what to do. All right, guys. Until the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Later.